territories the soldier is bound to fight into, and how the force should be used during an operation. Now, this is how military units conduct themselves, and we know that in this world is a struggle between right and wrong, between Allah and Shaitan. Yes. It's a war. It's a spiritual war of hearts and minds. We have rules of engagement. Shaitan is telling us we can't engage with our children. We can't deal with them. He's telling us if we chastise them, then we go to prison. Yeah? That's right. He's breaking up our rules of engagement so that we can't have peace and balance within our family, community, and nation. He's breaking up our rules of engagement. We can't even engage male towards female. We don't engage.
But that was one of the foundational things that they'd done during slavery, wasn't it? Is they removed the children from the parents and they separated them and put them in schools so that someone else could teach the children and the parents weren't able to teach the children. So a lot of our own history and a lot of our own principles and practices that died out based on us not being exposed to our parents and our children.
Yeah. So he has a rule of disengagement.
Yeah, okay.
A rule of separation. We have been separated not only from one another, not only from our children, but we've been separated from our religion, our God, our land, our culture. We're living a separate life here.
Individualistic.
Individuals. Yeah. Whereas the armies of the world who conquer in the name of Shaitan follow rules of engagement. We're checkmated because we're following rules of disengagement. Yeah, the armies of the world regularly go on exercises to practice their killing tactics, to try their latest weaponry that they have spent billions developing with taxpayers' money. These war games are just for pretend. There comes a time when they have to use these weapons for real. Afghanistan, Iraq,
that's right.
Iran, These are still games though.
Yeah.
Even though they're killing people, it's still a game to them. The rules of engagement have changed slightly in those circumstances, yeah? So they have these rules of engagement. We need to relearn our rules of engagement so that we can re-engage with our brothers and sisters.
But I know that with us as a people, we don't always see that we have to follow rules.
No, we don't want to, definitely.
Yeah, and we don't see that there are rules. And we think that we find it hard to submit ourselves to that because we haven't grown up being taught that there are rules. So how can we change from being quite lawless and not following rules to following rules?
Okay, well, it is the job. This is how it's taught in the Nation of Islam. It's the job of the civilized to civilize the savage. The savage can't civilize themselves. The savage will not submit to rules. And this is a situation, as horrible as it sounds, brothers and sisters, this is a situation we're in. We refuse, point blank, to submit to any rules. The Arab man tries to come to us with Islam. We ain't having no Arab man come to us as a people to tell us anything. The white man has enslaved the black man. We ain't having the white man come to us and tell us anything. The Asian man, the yellow man, the brown man, whichever color, we ain't having it because we've reached that level where we are not going to submit to any outside forces. So Allah has to raise a man from amongst us, looking like us, coming to us in a way that we know not, that we don't necessarily look in and see, in the scripture. A man has to be raised from amongst us and come at us, shoot crooked to get straight. He has to speak to us in a way that no other person has spoken to us before. And this man is the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The traditional Islamic world can't understand this man, the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. They can't understand the Nation of Islam. They turn away, they shun, they frown upon us. Yeah? But we are at such a low level as human beings that Allah has to raise a man, basically, from amongst us. And he says it in the scripture, to every nation a man has been raised. A man will be raised. This is the war game that is being played now, that's being played out. This is Allah's war game.
So you're talking about we're actually in a spiritual war.
We're in a spiritual war, and we need a completely new rule of engagement to reach us. because we're killing ourselves. Our children are killing themselves. Parents, in their actions, are killing one another, killing the family, even in the way we are bringing up our children as single parent families, denying the other access to the children. It's all killing the family. It's all killing that's going on in different areas at different levels. It's all killing.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily see that, and I think that's part of the issue, because if you don't see it as a savage, you use the terminology savage.
Yeah.
Being savage, we don't notice that we're savage. We are just the way that we are. So if you don't see that, how can you
barbarous ignorance? That's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah. Barbarous ignorance, sister.
Yeah. So if you don't see that, how can you get someone who is blind or who doesn't see how they are? How can you get them to understand that, and how can you help them to change?
The blind man may not see, but the blind man feels. The blind man has to feel his way around because he can't see where he's going. So he has to rely on feelings. And feelings, when you talk about feelings, you talk about black people. You know, we were the ones who talk about, we feel the music. We don't hear them. We don't talk about hearing music. Yeah. We talk about feeling. Do you feel it, man? Are you feeling me, blood? You feeling me, dog? You know, we're the ones we talk about feeling. And that is an attribute of a blind man. So Allah introduces a man to us. He raises a man who we can feel.
Yeah.
So we talk about, we can feel Minister Farrakhan.
I'm telling
you. What he touched me.
Yes, he does.
He spoke a certain word and
yes, he does.
Touched me and made me to start to see now. The blind man in the scripture, he touched the eyes, you know, with spittle. Yeah. The spittle, the words, you know, the vapor that comes out of your mouth in tiny particles. It touched the eyes and opened them. And this is what is happening to us today. This is what must happen to us today, you know? So those of us who have embraced Islam from whatever perspective that we've embraced Islam from and do not necessarily understand what it is that we're doing, you have to be patient with us. We're on our journey, you know? This is, we're on a journey to take us out of a checkmate that we're in. You know, this is a serious war game. And this battalion is coming. It's being prepared by Allah's grace and mercy through the nation of Islam. And all praise is due to Allah. And it's only through the teachings of the Honourable Elijah Muhammad that is being given to us by Minister Louis Farrakhan today that I can be sitting here even talking to you today. It's only by Allah's grace and mercy that we can sit as a family, married man and woman, for over 10 years.
11.
Over 10 years, brothers and sisters, and still going strong and overcome trial and difficulty.
Terrible trials.
Because the trials still come. The difficulties still come, but now we have a rule of engagement. We have parental guidance. We have a way that we may console in those times of difficulty to overcome that difficulty and continue on to the next difficulty. And sister, we have reached where we need to reach. So is there any words that you would like to leave us with? I know you always have some very powerful words. Anything that's come to mind over this last piece of the war games?
I was just going to say patience, you know, because what you were just saying about us being on a journey, and you know, when we're on a journey, particularly in the rush hour, brothers and sisters, and everyone is going home, you know, that like on a Friday and everyone's tired and they want to get home, and we're going through the rush hour and it's hot and it's sweaty and everyone's tired, and we start stepping on one another's toes, and then people start arguing and fighting. All of us, we know that we're on a journey. We feel that we're on a journey. And in being on that journey, we're going to step on one another's toes. We're going to hurt one another. We're going to say things that are going to hurt one another. But we have to learn to be patient with one another's development. And even more importantly, be patient with our own, because it takes a while.
All praises due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, may Allah bless us all with the light of understanding that we may continue our work in His name. Until next time, peace. Assalamu alaikum. And cut.
That's very serious.
Very serious. Very, very serious.
It is very intense though.
Whoa.
It's true. Yeah.
There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to do.
Yes, there are.
Let's get on it.
You're talking about my mum.
go outside.